Hello, my name is Hakon and welcome back to my channel, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another episode of playing fighting fantasy game books. And today the turn has come to Daggers of Darkness. Now, you may also notice, of course, that there is a change in the way the bookshelf looks behind me, and this is a clue to one of the many things that have kept me from making as many videos as I would really have liked lately. Because one of the things that have kept me from it is I had to get more bookshelves. So a few weeks ago, I ordered more bookshelves from IKEA. They didn't get delivered. Car broke down on the way. I got a redelivery about a week and a half, almost, well, more than a week later. Well, actually, no. Almost 2 weeks later, because the order had got stuck in their system, so it had to be redone. And and then finally, I got now 4 new bookshelves over on the side here. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see the last one there, which is extra deep as well. And I've also tried to maximize the space now, so you can see almost all the bookshelves are filled from bottom to top. There's not much gap at the top of those shelves. I don't have enough spare shelves for these ones behind me to actually do that. The idea being, of course, that if you want to maximize your shelf space, you have to sort your books by height, or by size, I should say. Which means that at the moment there is no good system for the books behind me, which is why they look a bit messy. Before, as you might remember, they were sort of more sorted by livery and also by writer to some extent. So that all the ones that have the same kind of style, like my Shakespeare ones there, sort of all the same livery, that's what it's called, would have been collected together in one batch, and it looks very nice on the shelf. And also there was a certain order by size, where the biggest ones were on the side, and then they would go gradually smaller and smaller, and then bigger and bigger again towards the other side, things like that. Of course, that means at the moment my fighting fantasy game books are a little bit sort of tucked away and double shelved and things over there. You may have spotted them when when I pan my camera left there. Right, so I'm not here to talk too much about bookshelves, although I know you do like my anecdotes. So I want to get into playing this game here now, and yeah, maybe I should just get started. So I'll just swap my view now to my desk where I have my supplies. I have my book, I have my map and / character sheet, because this is how I'm going to be playing it now. I got my pen. I do have dice, but as usual I probably won't be using them so much after I realized that that is not really the fun part for me when it comes to these kinds of games. Now I've been playing lots of games over the years, of course, board games and other games where rolling the dice is a major part of the game, but I think that the randomness of rolling dice is something that makes more sense in a collaborative or competitive game, and not in one where you only are playing by yourself. That's what I think, anyway. Solo games of any sort, I think, are better when you are able to control all the parameters yourself, because you are only competing against yourself in a way, or the environment, or the puzzle of a book, etc., etc. So randomness affecting the outcome is something that really shouldn't factor into it. I think it's always better game design to certainly for a game book, for it to be based on choices and clues, hints, puzzles, and of course puzzles that don't break the immersion, which is a bit tricky sometimes. Excuse me. I do apologize. My voice is a bit rusty today. It is a cold day here. It's winter at the moment. It's the end of November as I am recording this. It looks like a nice sunny day, but it is also frosty. So even though I have been drinking quite a bit of water this morning, my throat was very dry when I woke up this morning. So Yeah, let's find out what this book is about. Got a nice map here. So we got Kazan, Kelta, Mavra Komata, Kazilik, Uruz, Hulugu, Bugomil, Owl Shriek, Shadabas, the River Dart. The River Dart sounds familiar. I think I've heard about the River Dart before. Greater Ilkhans, Lesser Ilkhans, Kurkut, Yiglik. Okay. Gorak. Gorak. Yeah, we've been in Gorak before, haven't we? Yeah. Let's see. As one of Segrek's select, you could be the heir to the great throne of Kazan. Who knew? But the ancient system of succession in this strange and wild kingdom is under threat from the forces of evil in the guise of the murderous vizier Chinggis. So Chinggis, of course, that's like Chinggis Khan. Yeah, you might have heard of him. It's just a different way of writing Genghis, actually. Time is running out for you already. Following an assassin's attempt on your life, your body is infected with poison from a death spell dagger forged by Chinggis himself. Unless you reach the great throne in time and hand back the dagger to its maker, you will perish, and Chinggis and his dark creatures will rule the land. Who knows what evil will pour out of Kazan if you fail in your quest? The destiny of the great throne depends on you. So you have to save the world again, basically. The usual stuff. You're the chosen one, and you have to save the world. Yeah. Not a single trope in sight here. Okay, so this is another Luke Sharp one. Second printing. Okay. Right, let's see if there are any rules that are different to what you expect. Skill, stamina, and luck. That is usual. Battles. Luck in battles. Provisions. Potions. Standard. Okay, poison, of course. Yeah. Unfortunately, you will find that poison is spreading through your body. At various times, especially after you have exerted yourself, you will be asked to mark off poison units on the adventure sheet. If this occurs, you must shade in one area of the outline figure provided on the adventure sheet. The poison will spread as you progress through the adventure, so you must always shade in an area next to one that has already been infected. If you find that the figure is completely covered by the poison, then your adventure is over. So it's a kind of time mechanism here, except it's marked by poison rather than by actual time units, and because the poison spreads in other ways than just through the passing of time. Medallions and mazes. There are 6 regions in Kazan, and each region contains a medallion. The clans that rule the regions are listed on the adventure sheet. Traditionally, the medallions are kept in huge mazes full of untold dangers. If you succeed in obtaining a medallion, make a note of the fact in the box provided. The medallions possess great power. Each one enables the holder to walk away from 3 lost combats, even if you lose a fight. You may restore your stamina to 4 and act as though you have defeated your opponent. Okay. If you do choose to use this power, however, you must at the same time reduce your skill by 1 point, your luck by 1 point, and mark off 3 poison units on the adventure sheet. Okay, that's an interesting and different mechanism, I guess. Let's see. You will possess 6 gold coins when you begin your adventure. One of these will be sewn into your boot. This is your lucky piece, and you must not use it unless specifically instructed. Okay. You will also carry a small purse of iron coins of very little value. Iron coins don't really make much sense in terms of... The thing about it is, about coins, historically, is they were made of copper, silver, and gold. And the reason is, of course, that copper, silver, and gold are the metals that keep the best. Iron rusts easily, and it's, yeah, no. Not a great choice for a coin. Right. So poison units is this guy there. Medallions, Yiganik, Urus, Bogomil, Hulugu, Kurkut, and Kazilik. So if the evil guy is called Chinggis, I presume some of these names might have been inspired by some Mongolian names or something. I don't know. Anyway, we are starting with 6 gold coins. I'll just make a note of that in the margin here. 6 gold. How am I going to do my poison units? Maybe I need a kind of a character sheet after all, if I can find a piece of suitable paper to use. Let's see if I got a... I think this one is rather full. I'll just grab a sheet of paper there. So maybe I'll just put my 6 gold here. And then we have poison. So we got the head is 4. Okay. And then we have torso. I'll just do that like so, maybe. Yes, I could do like so. 1, 2, 3. And we have the arm. Let's see, and then it's, I presume so. Of course, the which area is neighboring the areas is relevant here. It sounded like. I'll just do it like that. And then the legs, each 4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll just make it a little bit more stylized than the one in the book, just to make it clear which areas neighbor which areas. Okay. Right. So a few different things in this one, and I guess we have to start with the background so we can find out more about what's going on. I've only read the blurb really now. Okay, so background. You open your eyes. Above you stands a creature swathed in a dark cloak. He is holding a long dagger which he is about to plunge into your body. You try to move but cannot. You are transfixed by his staring, unblinking assassin's eyes. The blade gleams in the moonlight as it flashes down towards your throat. "Begone, creature of the night," a familiar voice cries. "Homrath des blichneth vaqua," or something like that. The dagger falls with no power and grazes your shoulder. Just before your swoon at the fiery torment, you catch a glimpse of the departing figure of the would-be assassin. Then you turn your head and see Galli's gentle eyes before you black out. Yeah. So, a kind of poisonous dagger hitting your shoulder. Yeah, no references to Lord of the Rings here at all. When you awake, the pain in your shoulder is a dull throb. Galli is bathing the wound and chanting in a strange tongue. He sees that you are watching him and says, "Welcome back. I fear the dagger held a greater evil beyond even my powers, but you are quickly recovered. Well met, brave Kazanid, one of Segrek's select." "But how do you begin to ask?" "This inn is dangerous now," he says. "I will take you to a safer place, and then all will be explained." The drinking companion you knew as Galli leads you into the keep at Gorak, up a spiral staircase and into a large room full of dusty books, jars and bottles, small furry creatures and birds. Suddenly you realize that Galli is none other than Astrogal the wizard. Ah, Galli. Astrogal. Okay. He explains that there is little time. Only recently has he learned that Segrek, ruler of Kazan, died the previous year and that the vizier, Chingiz, suppressed the news and sent out the Mamlik assassins to kill all the select before they could undertake their journey to the throne at Sharabas. He tells you to sit and rest, for there is much to be done. As he leaves the room, you hear him ordering the guards to let no one in. You sit back, rubbing your shoulder, and watch the birds flutter in and out of the window. By your side, a small book lies open. You pick it up to read a very familiar story. Kazan. Very little is known of this strange wild land. It is situated to the west of Gorak, see above, and south of the Sword Flow, in the extreme southwest corner of Kul. The capital city is Sharabas, where sits the throne of Kazan. The remainder of the land is divided into 6 tribal regions, each fiercely independent and warlike. The Kazanids are renowned for their bravery and their acceptance of any creature or being that can stand up to their hard and, some would say, savage tests. There have always been rumors of the presence of gold in the Greater Ilkhans, the range of mountains to the south of Sharabas, but no prospector has ever returned with firm evidence. Kazan has a very strange ritual of succession to the throne, but the system has meant that every ruler of Kazan has been very brave, strong, and quick-witted. Those parents who choose to nominate their children as heirs to Ushun Koja, or the Select, bring their babies to Sharabas, where they have to undergo a series of tests. The parents of those children who pass the tests are given money to bring up the infant in the approved manner. At the age of 9, the child is exiled from Kazan and must roam the lands of Kul, making his or her own way and surviving the rigors of loneliness and fear. When a ruler dies, the select are summoned by messengers who travel the countryside, leaving secret symbols in traditional locations. They must make their way to Kazan, enter the great mazes, and obtain as many of the clan medallions as possible. They then have to reach Sharabas, where they must be the first to sit upon the throne. The Kazanids are a very secretive people, and the mystery of what happens in Sharabas has never been revealed. Suddenly your reading is interrupted by Astragal rushing back into the room, clutching the evil dagger of the Mamlik assassin. This dagger was forced by Chingiz with a very strong death spell. There is no way to recovery but to hand it back to its maker, Chingiz. That's a weird way of solving a spell, isn't it? You have to give it back to the one who cursed it so that you are in his presence and therefore he can kill you properly. You must hurry. You secure the dagger in the lining of your boots. So begins your journey to the throne of Kazan. You must make your way through the wild lands, take the test of the clans, enter the mazes, and carry as many of their medallions as you can to Sharabas. Once there, you must find the Great Throne. Now, there's a logical flaw in his, because it says you have to get as many medallions as possible, and then you have to be the first to sit on the throne. But if being first on the throne is pivotal to becoming the new leader, then if you spend all the time trying to find medallions, you wouldn't be the first on the throne, would you? What if somebody else picks up the medallions first? There aren't that many of them. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because it's like 2 different things that can be in contradiction with each other. Anyway. Once there, you must find the Great Throne. All the while, you will be sought out by the Mamlik assassin who served the evil vizier Chingiz. Caution must be your watchword. You may encounter necromancers, undead beings of no physical substance but possessing great powers of evil magic. Avoid them if you can. Unfortunately, as Astragal explained, you have been scratched by a death spell dagger. Your body has been infected by the evil of Chingiz. The poison will spread slowly through your body, but it will have no real effect until it has traveled through every part, and then death will be sudden and violent. I feel a lot of the game has sort of been given away in the beginning here. You're not sort of, I don't know. It's almost like there's too much information that is, and it's taking some of the mystique away from what you're supposed to do. Anyway, turn to 1. Astragal leads you to the boundary of the land. Let's see. of the lands of Gorak shakes you by the hand and wishes you good luck. By the order of the Mage Council, he cannot enter Kazan, but he hints that he will make attempts to contact you from time to time. He waves farewell as you begin to climb up into the mountains that divide the two lands. Your shoulder starts to ache, and you know that the poison is beginning to work its way through your body. Mark off 2 poison units on the adventure sheet. Now, it seems that it's irrelevant because the rule here said that it was when the poison had gone through your entire body is when problems start, which means that the entire shape of this poison figure thing is completely irrelevant. Basically, it's just a number of tick boxes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So 24. So basically, we've got 24 units of time or poison before it's the end of the game. So yeah. 2 poison units. So I might as well just start from the top. Okay. You climb for many hours, passing from green fields to the cold land up above the snow line. The snow underfoot gets thicker and the going gets harder. You are exhausted but know that you cannot stop. Deduct 1 point from your stamina. I'll just put that on my map. Oh, fuck. Can't be bothered actually because I'm not using my stamina. So yeah. Eventually you come to the mountain pass known as Drago's Gate. An ancient stone obelisk marks the Khazanid frontier. On the rock, a body sprawls, a dagger planted in its chest. You notice an open backpack lying on the snow by the obelisk. Do you wish to take any of the objects that you see scattered around by the backpack, or do you want to inspect the body first? Right. Now, for someone who seems to be almost subject to a ritualistic killing, then one would also think that the things left behind are also part of that ritual, and so it's one of those things that normally one shouldn't really be messing with, I guess, but I'm going to start by inspecting the body. So let's see, body items. Okay. I'm going to start inspecting the body. So I'm going to go to 89 and have a look there. You go over to the body. The dagger protruding from it is exactly the same as the one that wounded you and infected you with its poison. Suddenly you realize that the man is not quite dead. His eyes open. He looks at you and speaks. The Mamluks. No, they left me here. Yes, for dead. Got on their evil black steeds. It's a bit like ring wraiths, isn't it? Evil black steeds and Morgul blades, basically. Yeah, it's a bit derivative, isn't it? And rode off on the path to the left. Ha! The Deathspell dagger begins to hiss. The body wastes away to a skeleton, and the possessions surrounding it dissolve in smoke. Okay, so maybe that wouldn't have happened to the possessions if I had picked them up in time. You decide not to hang around, so you take the right-hand path. After a short time, you come to another fork in the track. Do you choose the left path or the right? So we got the left or the right. 314 and 120 left. I'm going to go left. You walk along the path, keeping one eye on some large birds circling overhead. The snow has stopped, and the track begins to slope downwards. Soon you find yourself walking by a fast-flowing stream. As you bend over to drink some water, you see a shadow looming over you. It is a wizened old crone dressed in tatters that might once have been finery. She introduces herself as Gehlena and asks if you would like to earn some gold. She wants you to do a little job for her. Do you agree to help her or decide to ignore her request and carry on alone? It's a bit random, isn't it? Also, at the moment, we absolutely have no motivation whatsoever to earn more gold. So, yeah. But I'm curious to see what it's about, of course. But I just don't, I'm not sure if my character, if the character itself would be particularly interested in something like that without a better reason than the fact that a very dodgy looking old lady is asking for help in return for money. So let's see what this is about. When you agree to her request, she rubs her hands with glee and leads you up a small hill to a blasted oak. She explains that some fiends have robbed her and have concealed her precious treasure chest in the depths of the hollow tree. Yeah, I think I've. This reminds me of some fairy tale or something. Can you get it for me, my lovely? She begs. You climb the oak and find that the. Now, this is also kind of a dodgy thing game book design wise, because now you actually are told what you are supposed to help her with, and then you are not given another choice to refuse. That's the wrong order of things. You definitely wouldn't accept anything until you actually learned what was going on. Anyway, can you get it for me, my lovely? She begs. You climb the oak and find at the top a large dark hole. Climbing in, you drop down and find yourself in a large cavern encircled by tree roots. In the gloom, you can make out a metal chest surrounded by whitened bones and other bits of armor. Suddenly, two hellhounds appear from after the dark, barking, howling, and frothing at the mouth. You must fight each hellhound in turn. If you survive, mark off 2 poison units. That's one thing I need to keep track of on my map here. So that's +2 poison on paragraph 1, and here it is +2 poison on paragraph 22. If you survive, which I do, obviously, you manage to drag the chest up out of the tree and you climb down with it. Before the old woman can reach it, you force open the lid. It is full of gold coins. You help yourself or let the old hag get her hands on the chest and pay you your due. That's a really weird set of options there. First of all, you're sort of helping someone. The only motivation is that you get gold for it, and even then it's sort of, why would you need gold? We don't know if you need gold or not. That's not really part of your mission at all. And then it sounds like you're given the option, and it's phrased in a way it sounds like you want to be a money-grabbing thief before giving it to the rightful owner, potentially, unless it actually isn't hers at all. It's a bit odd to me. Because the thing about game books is that, of course, there are moral choices, but of course, the way that they are phrased, it says something about. Yeah. Anyway, help yourself 105 or 241. Let's put steal basically, or give. Yeah. So I'm not going to help myself. That would be a bit daft, really. You allow the old woman to gloat over her treasure chest. Finally, she whispers a spell, and the golden snake rises out of the chest. Crooning to it, she strokes its head and slips it into her pocket. So maybe the snake would have bit you if you'd been a money-grabbing so-and-so, and you would have got your comeuppance for being immoral. So maybe there was meant to be a test that way. But still, the options and the way they were given were a bit odd to me. Crooning to it, she strokes his head and slips it into her pocket. Then she hands you 15 gold coins. So plus 15 GP. So now I got 21 gold. And makes the following speech. You have helped me, brave adventurer. Now I may be of help to you. I am the repository of many secrets. What do you wish to know? You decide to reveal to her some details of your quest for the throne. Segrex Select. You are in great danger. Yeah, I sort of knew that. Genghis is overturning the great traditions. To achieve ultimate success, you must seek the medallions. Follow this path to Uruz. When you stand before the entrance to the great maze, look to the top left for the pattern that is the key to the maze. Remember, you must enter from the top or the north. I know the maze well, for I helped fashion it when I was young, and my powers then were keen. Without another word, she picks up the chest and disappears down the path. So we've got a clue so let's see, 241 clue maze. So before that, excuse me. Top left for the pattern that is the key to the maze. Yeah, okay, it'll make sense when I get there, I'm sure. You set off in the opposite direction. The path you are taking is difficult and rough. To your left lies an easier, flatter route that leads in the direction of some birds circling in the sky. Do you take the left-hand path or keep on the path indicated by the old woman? Now I'm going to keep to the path indicated by the old woman. 161, let's see. You walk along the path for many hours. The mountains behind you recede. The path grows less steep and the countryside becomes much greener. You cross several small streams and you notice more and more trees until at last you find yourself at the edge of a huge forest. Within you can hear strange creatures screaming and calling to one another. All the walking has made you tired. Do you stop now to rest, or do you wish to carry on quickly into the dark forest? I think resting before you go into the dark forest with strange-sounding creatures calling to one another might sound like the most obvious choice of the two. So I'm going to do that. Let's see, I'll just put that here. So 368 or 86. Rest or forest. Right. You stop to rest and eat some of your provisions. Add 4 points to your stamina. Is it by force? You're not given a choice to eat or not. After some time, your suspicion that you can hear something moving in the undergrowth becomes a certainty. You are just pulling out your sword when suddenly an arrow is fired from behind a tree to your left. Yes. Arrows being fired. Of course, that's your classical misunderstanding, of course, that you can't fire an arrow. It's shot or it's loosed. But yeah, it's never fired because that's a firearm term. Nobody fires an arrow like ever. From behind your tree to your left. You move quickly. Test your luck. If you're unlucky, it hits you. It passes through your shoulder. And it might actually take out all the poison then if it passes through the shoulder. Okay, mark off one poison. If you're lucky, the arrow misses. I'm going to say I'm lucky because the arrow misses, and the black robed figure drops down to the ground. A second glance reveals that this is a woman with long black hair and evil-looking eyes. What are evil-looking eyes anyway? Before you can do anything to defend yourself, you are surrounded by 6 similar figures. You are helpless. Turn to 395. 395. You are bound with leather thongs that seem to get tighter the more you struggle. They do. That's how it works. Nothing is taken from you, however, and you are led through the dark forest until you reach a small settlement in the clearing. The silent figures now reveal themselves by removing their hoods. There are no men in the group. One of them speaks to you. Intruder, you have trespassed into Owl Shriek, the penalty for which is death, unless you can prove yourself both strong and fit to live. The choice is yours. Do you wish to run the arrow or undertake the test of the 3 cuts? Which do you reluctantly agree to try? I don't know why you would be reluctant, because this is the tradition of the land. As you well know, that when you are going into any kind of tribal land, you will be tested, and passing the test is how you prove that you are worthy to be there. And of course, in order to become the ruler of the land, which seems to be the aim here, you will have to pass these tests. Is nothing that you should do with any kind of reluctance, because that doesn't actually fit the world building that has already been done. This is something you shouldn't be proud to do, because what is the point of doing this unless you think that you actually believe that you are the chosen one that is meant to be on the throne? If you don't believe that, if you don't have the confidence for that, then you would be reluctant to do these things. But you should be glad to, because this is how you become the leader. And if you don't want to do these things, you are not meant to be the leader at all, and you should just leave and go back and never come back. Simples. Anyway, so the run the arrow or the test of 3 cuts. So it's a bit of a shame that you sort of start doing world building and then you sort of ignore it a little bit. So yeah, 48 and 206. So test or run. Test of 3 cuts. Sounds like fun. 206. The huntresses all line up as the leader, Morphina by name, explains the task. You must cut 3 logs and a taut piece of leather below them before a candle has burned through a piece of twine and released a spray of poisonous darts. He seems to relish giving the explanation and the agonizing death you can expect. Throw 2 dice. This is the time it will take the candle to burn through the twine. Throw 2 dice. This is the time it will take you to cut through the 3 logs. If your axe wielding time is equal to or less than the time it takes the twine to break, then you are successful. You are bound once again and taken to a hut which is already occupied by another prisoner, an old woman dressed in rags. Turn to 303. If you fail, there is a great cheer as you are peppered with darts. You die an agonizing death. So basically roll 2 dice twice and see if you survive. So it's 5. That is the time to beat. And I roll 7, which means I didn't make it in time. And I suppose for this kind of thing, then it makes sense to roll the dice. But of course, if you just do this again and make the same choices, you would be able to succeed every single time. And I'm only 40 minutes into recording this video, so I'm going to say that at some point I will succeed. The randomness is not needed because it's just you can go back and make the same choices, etc., etc., and throw the dice over and over until you succeed, and it's just saving time. So maybe the other test is easier. I don't know. In any case, it's 303. if you survive. So I'm going to say I survive, of course. 303. The ragged bundle stirs. She is not bound, but appears quite weak. She looks at you and tells you that you will be lucky if they decide to kill you straight away. The huntresses of Owl Shriek believe that they gain power from inflicting pain and torture. Suddenly, the old woman stares at your shoulder where some bits of greenery are lodged in the joints of your armor. Trefili! You brought me Trefili. At first jubilant, she becomes suspicious. Who are you that brings me Trefili? You explain your quest to her. She smiles and tells you that she will help you now. She picks up the sprigs and crushes them while muttering some words in a foreign tongue. Both of you at once become invisible. She unties you, and together you walk past the guards. You collect your sword from another hut, and she chuckles as that also disappears. Just as you become visible again, you enter the forest, and the old woman invites you to accompany her. Do you accept her offer or leave her and carry on alone? Okay. That's a bit Deus Ex Machina, I suppose. And let's see. 3, 6, 8 alone or 130. I'll let her accompany me. It sort of sounds like it makes sense at the time. So that's 130. These companionships usually don't last very long because, well, it would make the gamebook so much bigger if you had to accommodate a companion for a long time. You support the old crone through the forest. He tells you that her name is Mayaka and that you are taking her to Brasino Dendro in the north of the forest. Eventually you arrive at a clearing where you find 3 figures, just like Mayaka, grouped around a boiling cauldron. Yeah, so, well, Macbeth has certainly inspired many things as well, yeah. Mayaka tells them how you helped her escape from the huntresses, although you can't really have 4, can you? Because 3 is the magic number. Really, there should have been 2, and then she would have joined Mayaka. Anyway. Mayaka tells them how you helped her escape from the huntresses and of your quest, and they agree to help you. They give you 6 sprigs of prime Trefili, and Mayaka explains the spells that go with them. You may use the herb only when you feel it vibrate. Crush 1 sprig and whisper by Ash and the bird, and your adversary will fall asleep. Crush 2 sprigs and whisper by Ash and bird and crust, and you will become invisible to all senses for several minutes. She wants you to be frugal in the use of these spells, since they are harmful. You must deduct 3 points from your stamina for every sprig you use. Mark the Trefili on the adventure sheet. Mayaka shows you the path out of the forest onto the Kazanid plains. After many hours walking, you reach a fork in the road. A carved stone obelisk points in 2 possible directions. Which way do you choose? The way of the bull or the way of the horse? So those are 2 different tribal lands, presumably. Okay. So 6 sprigs of Trefili. Let's see. So 130. So 130. 6 times Trefili. Yeah. And I'll just look that up if I need to check what the powers were. Right, so now we are getting to the actual tribal lands. Horse or bull? 278 or 225. Horse or bull? Well, horse and bull, they have something in common, I suppose, if you add 1 more word and make compounds. I'm going to go with bull 278. You follow the track that leads towards an open plain. Occasionally you pass clumps of trees and bushes, and you can hear rushing water. The track begins to get busy with other people, travelers on foot, on horseback, and in carts. Everyone is heading in the same direction. From what you overhear, it is market day in the local town of Torres. You merge into the crowd and feel safe until you see a roadblock ahead. A large group of orcs is inspecting everyone who passes. Why would they do that? Do you decide to get off the road, or do you stay and take your chances with the crowd? Right. What on earth are orcs doing? Inspecting. I'm going to stay with the crowd. What's the worst that could happen? The orcs are standing in the middle of the road, letting the crowd filter through. At your side, a merchant carrying several large bags starts complaining to you. Searches, searches, always searches. This is what we'll have to look forward to if Genghis becomes king. Me, I've got truffles here from Gorak. You'd think 10 gold coins a Kazan weight was a reasonable price to ask. I paid 6. But no one seems to like them in this land. My name's Trogum, by the way, and I've got 110 Kazan weights of the stuff. You help the merchant carry his bags, thinking that the smell of the truffles will disguise any scent that the orcs may be trying to pick up from you. Test your luck. Okay. So that is lucky. So I'm going to say I'm lucky and go to 255. The crowd on the road spills out into the marketplace of the small town of Torres. Excuse me. Here are gamesters, jugglers, and acrobats, as well as market stalls. If you are carrying any gold, you feel for your purse. It has gone. Someone has stolen all your gold except the coin that you sensibly keep in your boot. Deduct all gold coins but one from your adventure sheet. You take out your 1 coin knowing that you will need gold in order to succeed in your quest. Suddenly, you wander around the market in a daze. Do you go to the left or do you go right? Again, a bit weird this, because obviously you're in a crowded place. You check your purse before you go to a crowded place. I mean, yeah. Seriously. Also, you can also put all your gold coins in your boot. That's another classical way of preventing it from being stolen. So it's not like 15 gold coins wouldn't fit in your boot. It would clank a little bit, but so would your purse and your pouch at your belt that people would easily steal. Anyway. You wander around the market in a daze. Do you go to the left or do you go right? Right. Excuse me. 107 or 213. I'm going to go left. You join a small crowd surrounding a man who is leaning over a box. It is a dice game. He pits his throw against any challenger and pays back double the stake if he loses, plus your stake money, of course. Do you wish to risk your 1 remaining gold coin on the throw of the dice, or do you turn your back on the dice game and continue wandering around? Okay. So I presume you actually need gold for something now, and again, the gold being stolen. Very simple, slightly annoying, and not very well game designed trick to make you have to gamble, maybe, or to make a point of how you need more gold at some point for something that actually is essential. I don't like it as a game building game mechanics device at all. I think that's quite cheap little trick. Yeah, just like the escape from the Owl Shriek women. It's a bit lazy. Put it like that. It's a bit lazy. Yeah, I think so. So basically that means that if you're good at rolling the dice, random stuff again, you can get as much gold as you like probably here, and maybe you just have to make sure you have enough for whatever you're supposed to be paying for. That is essential to the game. Yeah, it's a very cheap mechanism. Anyway, 213, yeah. You come upon a stall that boasts tests of strength and bravery. It involves hitting a lever that shoots a wooden block up a pole. If you get it to the top, the block rings a bell and also releases a shower of daggers. You have to ring the bell and then jump clear of the area before the weapons land. The prize is 10 gold coins. Do you want to risk entering this test, or do you prefer wandering about the market? Again, it's a bit ridiculous, both these things now, because your gold shouldn't have been stolen in the first place. 75 or 344. So at least there should have been some kind of choice that led you to actually keeping your money safe or not. Anyway, wonder. Okay. So again, this is going to be a dice rolling thing, probably. Yeah. You know what? I'm not going to bother. The thing is, if you can get infinite money here, it looks like, just by rolling dice, as much money as you like, I'm just going to have to likewise pretend that if I ignore the dice, and of course knowing that I can just play over again and over again and over again and roll as many times, an infinite number of times, that I will at some point have exactly the amount of gold that I will need for whatever the gold is needed for. So just removing the random elements completely. And of course, if instead of using the random elements to generate gold, as it were, the only gold available in the game is stuff that you can pick up by being in the right place and making the right choices, like when you meet that old lady and you get gold for helping her get the treasure chest, then of course the amount of gold you have is choice based, and when you get in a position where you need to spend the gold on something that is also essential, then it's only if you have followed the right path that you would have enough gold, and therefore it is something that game mechanically is a lot better. And of course you wouldn't cheat, or you couldn't cheat and pretend you had more gold, because, well, it wouldn't feel right, would it? Because it's not random, it's actually based on choices. You're walking past a group of wealthy merchants when you suddenly hear the familiar Gorak accent. What I'd give for some truffles right now. No one seems to like them here, so no one bothers to import them. Do you know anyone who has truffles to trade? Go to the paragraph, which is the same as the number of Kazan weights he possesses. If you don't know any truffle importers, you make your way out of the town of Torres. Down to 280. So, no, I didn't know that was supposed to be a clue at the time, of course. Now this is a good kind of game mechanic, isn't it? This is the kind of stuff that I actually like, where you have to pick up the hints and the clues. Now, I'm going to say that was it 101? Let's see. 110. Yeah. So secret paragraph 110 is where I'm going. That is the amount of... Now, and again, this that particular thing wasn't needed, you could have just said if you, because it's not essential here for your character to remember how many truffles the guy has. It's just knowing the guy that's the essential thing. So it's a little bit somehow, but at least I like that there's a puzzle, a game mechanic puzzle that is based on paying attention to the text or the pictures, not just something random, at least. You seek out Trogum, explain the situation to him, and set up the deal. He agrees to give you 20 gold coins for negotiating the transaction. Add 20 gold. So now I got 21 gold altogether. Well satisfied, you wander out of town and back on the road. Turn to 280. So all this bit, all this town, all this marketplace thing was all just so you could lose your gold and get new gold. Wouldn't it just make more sense if you just keep your gold from before and just that bit wasn't there at all? Yes, it would. So I'm going to swap pages now. Which book is this in the series? Because this is when I would like to... I absolutely can't remember now. Let's see. Hang on, I'll just have to check because I like putting it on the map. 35. 35. Okay, so... Okay. So we got 280. You walk along the road to Uruz among a crowd of Khazanids who are also leaving the fair. Carts pass the walkers and some offer rides for a price. You ask one that stops, how much? And he replies, 2 gold coins. If you can afford it, do you agree to ride on the cart? If you have no money or you prefer to walk anyway, turn to 101. Okay, so 364 or 101. Yeah, let's get a ride for 2 gold. Why not? 364 and pay 2 gold. So now I've got 19 gold. You hand over the 2 gold coins. The old man looks you over carefully and sniggers. You climb on the cart and he urges the horses on. You are relieved that you won't have to wait for a while. The driver asks you if you would like some fruit, and as you turn round to get an apple, you see the shadow of a raised dagger in his hand. Twisting round, you knock the dagger from his hand, and locked together, you struggle as the horses bolt and the cart careers out of control down the road. Mamlik Assassin. Skill 7, Stamina 8. They're not very good, these assassins, are they? Skill 7. I mean, I think fewer and better assassins would have made more sense. Anyway, the loser in this unarmed combat falls off the cart and is crushed under its wheels. If you are the survivor, mark off 1 poison unit on the adventure sheet. You have to get off the cart somehow. Do you leap to the left or to the right? Right. Poison, so +1 poison. And then it's well, that sounds like this in this case is the wrong choice. I'll just mark that in red. I'm going to leap to the right. Luckily, you land well. with only minor cuts and bruises. Deduct 1 point from your stamina and add 1 point to your luck. However, when you get up, you find yourself surrounded by large black bulls. You make a dash for a nearby tree as one of them charges. Throw 2 dice for its speed and compare this with your stamina. If your stamina is equal to or greater than the speed of the bull, then you outdistance it. If not, then it overtakes you and gores you. You don't run away from a bull because the bull is much faster than you. You step to the side. Yes. You manage to climb up into the tree, but you are stuck there as the bulls gather and start to butt the trunk with their huge horns. All at once, a rider appears. She shouts at the bulls and makes them back off. She stares at you for a moment and suddenly throws you a small dagger which hits a branch close to you. A cloud of blue smoke is emitted that knocks you out. Turn to 176. 176. You wake up to find yourself lying on a bed of stretched hides. Before you stands a woman holding a lamp made from a large crystal. Well met. Udo's magic is not strong, but we are able to recognize one of Segrek's select. She points to the glowing crystal. We have revived you, but the rest is up to you. Do you wish to undergo the test of Uros for the honor of entering the maze and seeking the medallion? If you agree, turn to 258. If you refuse, you lose consciousness and awaken to find yourself lying by the side of a path. You shake yourself and get up. Turn to 225. Of course, you can't refuse because then you'll be a coward and not worthy of anything at all. So let's see. So 2, 2, 5, 2, 5, 8. Test or no? You are taken out of the hut. You hear a horn being blown and the crowd gathers, forming a circle. The woman, who is called Agalatha, stands in the middle and raises her hands for silence. 2 fierce black bulls are led in. However, they move as though they were in a trance. A cord is tied to the neck of each of the bulls. The other ends are looped around your forearms tightly, and at the last foot or so of loose cord hangs from your hands. You must use all your strength to pull the 2 bulls together and tie a knot in the 2 cords. Agalatha explains. If you fail, you will be torn asunder. Throw 3 dice to discover the strength of the bulls. Throw 2 dice and add the result to your current stamina to find out the power of your attempt. Your strength must be greater than that of the bulls for you to succeed. If you fail, your quest ends here. If you succeed, turn to 28. Now, this is the kind of thing where a paragraph describing what happens if you fail would have actually been quite nice, I think. Anyway, I'm going to say that I do succeed in this one, obviously. You are taken to the maze entrance. As you stand in front of it, Agalatha proclaims formally, "Seek the medallion of the ancient and noble tribes of Urus. The dangers are many, but the true path exists for the heart not tainted by evil." You are looking at the entrance and the Minotaurs guarding it, when suddenly a griphawk lands at one side of the door, cocks its head and gazes levelly at you. That is presumably Astrogal, who's trying to give me a sign that this is where you're supposed to look, because that's where the solution of the maze is to be found. If you possess the Great Talon of Sakar, whisper its spell, note the numbers in sequence, and turn to that paragraph. Otherwise, turn to 366. 366. Now, the upper left corner here shows straight, right, straight, right, straight, right, straight, left, straight, left, straight, left, straight. So, boom, Right? Yes. Okay, so that must be in some fashion a clue to how to get through. Right, take 6. You enter the great maze and walk south into the darkness as the door slams shut behind you. Faintly, you hear Agalatha's voice. Now we are releasing the 2 Minotaurs of the maze who will pursue you throughout your quest for the medallion. Yeah. You come to a tunnel that heads east. Do you take this or do you continue south? Okay, so presumably then the map is read from the top. So south, east. But I don't know if the first turning east is supposed to be the one I'm at now, or whether south is supposed to be the first bit. But I have been walking south, so I'm presuming that first one is east, actually, is where I'm supposed to go. Okay. So 103 east or 136 south. So I'm going to go east 103. You go through a door that closes behind you. You find yourself in a tunnel with a row of stone bulls on either side. They may be made of stone, but you are sure that they are moving slightly as you pass. Suddenly they all come to life and charge at you. You run flat out until you come to the junction of a tunnel heading south and the tunnel you are already in heading east. Which do you choose? Now this is when I'm supposed to go south again. Probably. Let's see, 337 east or 50 south. So south 50. You dash into the tunnel leading to the south as the herd of bulls crashes on eastwards. At the end of this southerly passage is a metal door, but on this side of it you can see a bubbling fountain made of stone. Carved on it is a bull drinking from the water with an arrow sticking out of its back. You drink some of the water or make straight for the door and go through it. Let's see. I think I'll just go straight for the door. Well, the bull is drinking. And the bull is a symbol of strength and the courage of the warrior and all that. Maybe I'm supposed to drink because the good bull drinks here and then it's saved by... Yeah, let's drink and see what happens. Maybe it'll protect me from something that is beyond the door. You drink deeply from the cool, sweet water. You feel refreshed and in good heart for the tasks and perils to come. Add 4 points to your stamina and do not mark off the next poison unit you come to. You push the door open and enter. It closes behind you with a strong thud. Okay, so that is the correct path, plus 4 stamina, and I'll just put -1 poison in brackets. Because I suppose a way to do that is to actually remove 1 poison and then you just mark off the next one as needed. So I suppose that's the same difference, really. 292. Yes, you are faced with a choice: a tunnel to the east or one to the south. So so then east, south, and I'm doing east again. Right, so I did east, south, east, south, east, south. Yeah, okay. So I'm still supposed to move further east. So you've got 2 05 south or 25 east. You encounter a figure gazing at one of the walls. She looks strong and confident, and she smiles as she speaks to you. So you are one of the select also. You know that by ancient law we must fight. Only one may claim the medallion of Uruz. She pulls out the scimitar, salutes you, and attacks. If you went, two mysterious shrouded figures emerge from the walls and take the body away. You look at the wall and you see upon it an inscription of 3 medallions. You pass through the next door, which seals shut behind you. Turn to 207. 207. 3 medallions on the wall. Is that meant to be a clue, a hint perhaps? I'll just put it here. 25. 3 medallions. You can see an exit to the south and one to the east. So, to the south you can hear a crashing sound. To the east you see flashes of color. So, I've done east, south, east. So east, south, east. I'm still supposed to do south and east one more time. So this time I'm supposed to go south, probably. Let's put these over here, just to use more of my space now. So 66 south or 283 east. So I'm going to go south again, go 66. The crashing noise gets nearer and nearer as you make your way down the tunnel. By the light of a blazing torch, you can see a carving of 3 medallions. By the light of a blazing torch. It sounds like an exclamation when you go into battle or something. Suddenly there is a very loud crash. One of the floor slabs is lifted and up pops the head of a goblin. You slide into the shadows as the goblin shouts, "We're in! Now, where's the gold?" He gets out, followed by a Mamlik. The Mamlik dusts himself down, points to the carvings, and then stabs the goblin in the back. The Mamlik walks over to the door and goes through it. Do you wish to follow him through the door, or do you prefer to drop down into the tunnel? Right. I'm not interested in side quests here, actually. So I will follow the Mamlik through the door, I suppose. Okay, so I am at 66, and I am going to... go through the door. 3, 2, 4. You stand facing a Minotaur who is holding a huge club and straddling the corpse of a Mamlik. The Minotaur attacks. Skill 9, Stamina 9, they're quite strong creatures. If you win, the body of the Minotaur sinks into the ground. You look around and see 2 tunnels. Which do you choose? The one leading south or the other heading east. So I'm supposed to go east again at this point. Okay, 156 is south, or 190 is the east. The tunnel is very long. By the side of a blazing torch, you see a row of 3 carved medallions with a cross inscribed under the 3rd one from the left. You trudge on warily until you come across a bush with sprigs made up of triangular leaves set in circular pattern. Above it is carved the legend, Trefili. Do you pick any of the sprigs, or do you leave the bush alone and pass through the next door? Okay. Could be a trick, of course. Or it could just be that it's there to help the ones who have the wisdom to know what Trefili is. And maybe it's a sign that you're even going to be using Trefili coming up now. So, yeah, I probably should pick some just to see, even if I already have some. You carefully pick 3 sprigs, and the plant then begins to wither and die. Add the sprigs to your adventure sheet. So right now I've got 9 sprigs of Trefili, and so that's plus. Okay, and then we go through 2, 3, 9, 3. You are faced with 2 tunnels. Which do you take? The one heading east or the other heading south? So last time I went east, so now I'm supposed to go south again. Okay. Let's see, 377 south or 25 east. Halfway through the maze. You walk along the tunnel. Suddenly you stumble over the burnt-up body of someone or something. You look at the wall above the body and see 2 bulls' heads with gleaming green eyes. You step closer and fire belches from their nostrils, lighting up 3 medallions set in a row between the bulls' heads. Which medallion do you choose to take? Now, there was a mark of the 3rd one from the previous thing, so that would be an indication that I'm supposed to go with the 3rd one. Let's see, I'm just going to move my options over here. A lot of math that I haven't been using here now. 184, 312, 228, 3, 2, 1. So 3rd one, 228. You dislodge the true medallion of the Urus from the wall. You examine it carefully and see the number 1000 inscribed. Let's see, that's the correct one. Inscribed on the reverse of the medallion. So let's see, 228, 1000. Suddenly the figure of Agalatha appears and speaks. Your efforts have been crowned with success. Now you must find the true path out of the maze. The vision fades. At that moment, something drops from the ceiling onto your back. It is a Mamluk assassin, his dagger raised, ready to strike. The entrance control in this place is horrendous. And it seems like any Tom, Dick, and Harry can just come pop in here or dig in through the ground or come down the ceiling or something like that. So, and the maze itself, I mean, that's the simplest. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so it's a bit simplistic. Luckily, the dagger fails to penetrate your armor. It glances off and breaks. Meanwhile, you roll over and throw the assassin off. If you have some Trefili, you know how to use it. You can now feel it vibrating. If you wish to use it in order to escape, turn to 179. Otherwise, you will have to fight. Yeah. Might as well use it to escape, I guess. Just for the fun of it. One 179. You crush 1 sprig of Trefili and deduct 1 point from your stamina and mutter the spell by Ash and Bird. The assassin immediately falls to sleep. You leave him lying there and go through a metal door that closes tight behind you. Turn to 95. Suddenly a Minotaur leaps out. He swings his club at you and misses, crashing it into the wall. Next he tries to gore you with his horns. If you win, you see 2 tunnels before you, one to the west and one to the south. So last time I went south, next time I'm going west. As you walk along, you hear rumbling, shaking, and screaming noises close by. You stop to read an inscription. This is the true path out of the maze. Here, brave adventurer, you will be safe. Suddenly, two orcs rush at you, yelling and brandishing their short swords. Where they come from? And this is, and then it's +2. Oops. +2 poison. And of course, I with -1 from that other time. So yeah. You push open the door, which then shuts behind you. Turn to 264. 264. Excuse me. Smoke and dust are swirling around you, and through the haze you can see that large stone blocks have collapsed from the walls and roof of the maze. You hear footsteps approaching and dive behind some fallen blocks. Captain Snapskull, have you the medallion? The voice is that of an orc. No, sir, comes the reply. But we have found 2 of them dead, and here is another one close by. He sniffs. Lord Chingis wants them all dead, says the first voice. None must appear at the fortress with the medallion. The power of the throne is still too strong. You see 2 possible ways out of the crumbling maze. Which do you choose? To prize lose a block on the left, or to scramble through a large hole straight ahead? So, yeah. So I'm supposed to go west and then south, which means I'm supposed to go left now as opposed to straight ahead. So, right? Yeah. Okay. You squeeze out through the small hole. Outside, you can hear the clamor of battle. You duck down out of sight when you see a necromancer standing with his back to you and directing operations. How do you know it's a necromancer? A troop of mounted orcs ride past through the thick smoke, but they do not see you. Add 1 point to your luck. You set off carefully, slowly and painfully over the rocky terrain. In the distance, you spot an orc guarding some horses, but he looks too strong for you to tackle in your present condition. Turn to 21. Am I suddenly outside now? This is a little bit weird. The maze is supposed to be like a sort of a self-contained unit, you'd think, but it seems like it's more some kind of thing with just boards and walls that you can just enter from any side now. Okay. You creep along past the guardian orc, up a hillside, and into some broken scrubland. When at last you feel that you are safe, you stop to check behind you. Dismayed, you see 3 shapes, each holding a blazing torch. From time to time, one of them bends down as though to sniff the ground. These are the legendary sniffer orcs, which, if rumor is to be believed, can follow any trail or track or trail across rocks, through water, over any terrain. At that moment, you look up into the dawn's light and see a large flying creature that is part human, part eagle. A bullianthrop. If you possess the great talent of Sakar, turn to 345. Otherwise, you will have to turn and face your pursuers, for they will never relent. Okay. So 345, Great Talon, which seems to have been something that's come up twice now. So I'm wondering if it's essential or not. It doesn't sound like it's essential, it just sounds like it's useful. 171. You wait to ambush them. When they arrive, you notice that one is a goblin. You leap out and he orders the sniffer orcs to attack. Fight each in turn. And then it's +2 poison. The goblin has disappeared during the fight and you make good your escape. After many hours of walking, you find a place to rest. Turn to 399. 399. You build a sheltered camp, eat some provisions, and settle down to sleep. Add 4 points to your stamina. You are awakened by a small green and red bird that flutters about and lands in front of you. It picks up some charcoal from the fire in its claw and scratches the A rune on a rock. So this is Astragal again, I presume. So 399A. You know now that it is a messenger from Astragal. Yeah, okay. Speaking in a high-pitched whistling tone, it says, "Greetings, friend. Speed is now of the essence. The medallions are all taken. Make for Sharabas as fast as you can. You must enter the fortress by fair means or foul. If you already have a medallion, the task will be easier. For help, you must go to Vetch. On no account..." Okay, so something strange happened there. The bird stops, drops the charcoal, and flies away. Help, you must go to Vetch. On no account. Okay, well, seems like Astragal got interrupted there, maybe. The bird stops, drops the charcoal, and flies away. You set off immediately. After many hours, you come to a fork in the road. Both paths look likely, but which will you take? The one on the left or the one on the right? And of course, this time I don't have any indication which I am supposed to take. Let's have a look at the map again. So this is not very useful, is it? Owl Shriek, we've been there. Uruz, we've been there. Sharabas is that away. So I'm on my way generally south. And left to right. So it could be either one. I suppose the left path will then take me through the forest. The right one through the mountains, maybe. Let's try the left one then. The path you take leads you in the direction of a range of very high mountains. At one point you see a possible track leading down into a heavily forested valley. Which path do you wish to follow? Up into the mountains or down into the forest? Okay, so there's still 2 possibilities. I'll just put them there. Let's go with the forest, which was my initial thought there. After a long descent, your path leads into a dense forest. You are not at all sure which is the correct direction for Sharabas, but cart tracks are visible on the path, so you guess this must lead to some town or other. Occasionally, your route, I suppose it's easier to follow a direction up in the mountains. Occasionally, your route passes large black pools which seem to be throbbing with fish. One pool has a fishing rod held up by a forked stick and a line hanging down into the water. And almost at once you see that the line is being tugged from below. You grab the rod, you leave it alone and continue your journey. Well, not my business. I'm not the one doing the fishing, so I'm just going to continue my journey. You walk on through the forest, and after many hours you stop to rest. Add 4 points to your stamina. Just as you are getting up to go, you suddenly notice a foot poking out from behind a boulder. Creeping round with sword drawn, you come upon a scene of carnage. 2 orcs and 2 trolls lie dead, excuse me, sprawled around a lone adventurer. You count yourself lucky that you didn't arrive here earlier. At one point, your luck. You search through the hapless adventurer's pockets and find a crumpled up parchment. You flatten it out to read, "The Wolfsbane at the Street of the 40 Guilds." The rest is torn away, so that might be a clue. 167. The Wolfsbane at the Street of 40 Guilds. Stop it. Okay. You salute the body and walk quickly away. Eventually the path splits into 2. Either could be the correct way to Sharabas. So which do you choose? The left-hand path or the one to the right? The right will lead me closer to the mountains, which will lead me towards Sharabas. So I suppose that makes the most sense. Okay, so 4 right and 23 left. So I'm going to do the one on the right. The track you are following becomes a well-constructed cobbled road. At frequent intervals along the side of the road you see small obelisks. An occasional cart passes by. You have just stopped to take a stone out of your boot when a man on horseback, swathed in a large brown cloak, trots past, leading a spare horse. He stops and offers you a ride into Sharabas at the price of 2 gold coins. While you are considering his offer, you notice the name Wolfsbane etched on his saddle. You accept the offer or refuse and walk on. So that means this is the guy who seems to have been the one who killed, was involved in that battle anyway. Is he an assassin then? Seems likely. 3, 5, 2 or 23. I'm going to accept the offer. 3, 5, 2. You accept the stranger's offer, pay the money, and climb onto the spare horse. The rider leads and you follow. Suddenly you are set upon by 6 orcs and a mamlik who rush out from the bushes. Your horse will not move and you seem to be glued, spellbound to the stirrups and saddle. The mamlik smiles a terrible smile, walks round and stabs you in the back. Your quest is over. Yeah, okay. So I suppose I sort of picked up the clue, but I sort of chose to ignore it in this case. And yeah, that's the end. I suppose that's a good place to end today's playing session. And I'll try again next time. It's, I don't know, some pros and cons about this book. A few things I don't like that I have pointed out, of course, already. A few sort of world-building strangeness, but it's quite minor, actually. I think I'm not sure about the structure of it, and the maze not being that much of a maze, and of course you're getting the clue as to exactly how to solve the maze very easily. Yeah, so I'm not sure. But I'll give it another whirl and see how I feel about it, I think, and maybe I'll enjoy it or not. But yeah, it's an interesting enough book, and it's nice to be playing a book again after it's been a few weeks now since last time I played a game book. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this episode, and of course, as usual, you know how to support my channel. There's a liking, sharing, all that stuff, my videos, on commenting on my videos. There's buying my poetry collections up here, of course. 1994, 3 words, Breath of Time, available on all Amazon stores right now. Links in the description. Other ways to support me, of course, you may notice, of course, one of the reasons I have lots of books, no, that's not the right way to phrase it. One of the things I realized having so many books is that there are some books that I will never read. And so I have started selling some books on eBay as well. So another way to support my channel actually is to buy something from me on eBay. And I will put a link in the description as well to my eBay shop, where I will have my spare books. There might be other things. There's been I've sold some synthesizers recently. I'll have some other things. I'm doing a bit of decluttering right now, and eBay is great for that, of course, especially now that they have removed the seller fees for 300 listings per month for private sellers, which is great, which means you actually get the full amount that somebody pays. And of course, now they pay straight into your bank account as well. So in the old days, eBay would take their fee, PayPal would take their fee, and then you were left with at least 15% less than the listing was. But now you get 100%, which is brilliant. So that's another way to support my channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye for now.